I didn't have an official diagnosis other than unexplained infertility. Within a month after having the hysteroscopy, I got pregnant.
If you've been told that you have unexplained infertility, if every doctor you've seen offers you pills, an IUI or IVF without ever explaining why your body isn't working the way that it should and was intended to work, you are not alone. This happens all the time. In this video this week, you're gonna meet Anna, a woman who spent years Googling, guessing, and waiting for answers that never came until now. And if she was doing this today, she would have also been asking ChatGPT what she should be doing. She had Hashimoto's disease, unexplained inflammation, weight struggles, cysts, and even cervical stenosis, yet no one connected all the dots. Today, you'll hear her incredible transformation, how just 30 days of the right support changed everything for her. And if you stick around, I'll share the 3 biggest lessons from her journey that might unlock your next steps as well. I'm Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the fertility expert, and for over 20 years, I've helped women who feel like they're out of options finally find the clarity and confidence that they need to grow their family naturally. Before we jump into her story, if you're feeling lost, overwhelmed, or like you're doing everything right but still not getting answers, I want to invite you to book a free personalized fertility assessment with my team. We'll review your full case, dig deeper into your missing pieces, and create a clear roadmap to help you optimize your fertility without wasting more time, money, or hope. The link to apply is in the description below. All right, let's meet Anna. When Anna came to me, she had been struggling with fertility issues for years. Doctors gave her pills, suggested IUI, told her IVF was truly the only path forward. But deep down, she knew something else was going on. Her body didn't feel right. She wasn't getting answers, just protocols, just things thrown at her, suggestions thrown at her. She considered adoption through foster care. She had cervical stenosis, cysts, and Hashimoto's disease. And no one ever tried to connect the dots until she found my community. So now we're going to hear her story.
So I was 35 when I originally enrolled in the program, and I didn't have an official diagnosis other than unexplained infertility, which is kind of the catch-all, I think, a cop-out, honestly. I had been through 4 or 5 rounds of IUI prior to that in 2019. And at the time, the fertility specialist that we were seeing said, okay, well, IVF's all you got left. And you don't have a whole lot of time, so you better get started. And my husband and I really kind of sat back and thought about it. And the cost of IVF was really something that overwhelmed us. So we decided to take a break, and then 2020 happened and the world fell apart. And again, my husband and I just kind of looked at each other and said, there are other ways to grow a family. So we ended up ultimately adopting our daughter through foster care in 2021. But something just didn't feel complete about our family. Like we still felt like there was more that we had. So we really sat down and had the discussion of, do we want...
By the way, I hear this all the time. We're going to adopt. There's absolutely nothing wrong with adoption. It's such a beautiful, beautiful piece. They have a child from adoption, which is amazing. Yet she just said, right? Like she felt like there was something more, that she needed more. And often I hear that too, is like we want a child that we created genetically. So that's where they're headed.
Want to continue to foster, hoping to adopt, or do we want to start looking at resuming fertility treatments and really looking at what that potential could be? I had been introduced to the program through a friend of a friend, through the Mira app actually, and I happened to listen to one of the webinars that he was on through in partnership with Mira, and had been following Dr. Sklar for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and really just, pulled the trigger. My husband is the eternal optimist. So he's kind of the one that said, it's going to happen. You just got to, have faith that it'll happen. So I'm like, okay, what's the...
By the way, I should comment on that as well. It's really not uncommon for husbands to be the positive, optimistic ones in the relationship. And unfortunately for, others like Anna, she wasn't sure. And it's normal for you as women to feel doubt because you're the ones typically going through all the treatment and questioning things on your side. So I see this sort of thing all the time. I always appreciate that optimism because it helps keep things going a little bit. Okay, we're going to continue to hear from her.
the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is it doesn't happen. So had the initial meeting, started all the blood work, found out that I have a autoimmune disease, which I'd kind of known for a while, but was never really taken seriously. And I think that was kind of the big eye opener of participating in this whole program is I've known that I've had underlying health issues that have been swept under the rug for so long by multiple providers. I'll go into a provider, my prior providers, because they're no longer mine, and say, this is how I'm feeling. And they'll say, okay, well, here's a pill to cover the symptom, not really getting to the root of the problem, which was really helpful. And I very much appreciated it, if for no other reason that, I mean, obviously we got pregnant, but even if we hadn't, I was getting answers to things that had been going on in my body for years. I dropped 20 pounds within the first 3 months of starting the program just because of a diet change. Knowing that I had Hashimoto's and switching through the autoimmune protocol, my inflammation stopped, my joint pain stopped. Like I said, dropped 20 pounds. I cut caffeine out and I stopped getting as anxious and jittery, and my tachycardia started to resolve itself and get a little bit better. So, I mean,
look, she knew her body was talking to her, and many times her body was yelling at her. She knew things needed to change, that she needed to live a healthier life, but she needed someone to hold her accountable. She needed someone to help her create the proper plan to support her needs, and then hold her accountable and hold her hand through that process. And that's exactly what we did when she joined the Hope Coaching Program. You know, we all need support at different times in their lives, and we all need people to hold us accountable to keep things going, because it's just easy to keep doing what we've been doing and not change things. That's when things shifted for her. And look at all the changes by adjusting her diet, by adjusting her lifestyle, by holding her accountable and supporting her through that process. She was able to make some amazing changes. Inflammation dramatically decreased, weight lost, energy changed, her immune system improved. These are all amazing results and what is possible for everyone with the right support. Okay.
Again, if nothing else came from the program, my health started to improve. And then it was recommended that I go on to have a hysteroscopy. And during the hysteroscopy, they found a cyst and that I also had cervical stenosis. So within a month after having the hysteroscopy, I got pregnant. So after 6.5 years of really trying, it just kind of, it happened. So
when we evaluated her case, we realized that things were missing, that there wasn't enough information about the health of her uterus, the health of her uterine environment, and she had some symptoms that made me scratch my head and say, I think something else is going on here. And that's when we made that suggestion that she needed to have the hysteroscopy. This allowed her doctors to look inside, take a peek, clear out anything that shouldn't have been there, and voila, right, a month after, she was pregnant. Right? So sometimes that's all it takes. I think in her case, it was multiple things. We had to support her immune system, reduce the inflammation, support her thyroid. She lost weight. That got her to a certain point, right? We're gonna stack the chips in her favor. The last thing was the hysteroscopy. It stacked it, it opened the door. And so, who knows if she would have done that hysteroscopy first and not any of the other things, if that would have happened. But regardless, I believe that it was all of those things that really stacked the chips in her favor and allowed her to conceive.
A friend of mine recently shared that she and her husband have been struggling with their fertility for about 3 years now. And I told her, I said, if nothing else, getting answers is better than nothing. It might not be the outcome that you want. It might not be the easiest answers, but answers are better than being in the dark and just waiting and hoping. And I think for me, that was really the hard part as we were going through that fertility journey, is just the countless years of nothing, the countless years of we're trying, but nothing's really happening. And just that feeling of defeat was so palpable for me, at least. My husband, it's a little bit different for men, but I took it personally.
I mentioned that.
And I really thought, what's wrong with me that I'm not able to do this? And it wasn't that there was anything that I was doing wrong. It's that my body wasn't working the way that it should, and really trying to figure out what was actively going on and making those small, subtle changes. I mean, gluten-free, dairy-free, that's all I changed. And from that to now was the difference.
We should be clear, that's all she changed in her diet, but she did a lot of other things. And that, again, stacked the chips in her favor.
Again, if for no other reason, my health has gotten better. My inflammation has gotten better. I feel better. I'm pregnant, but I still feel good. I don't feel bloated and puffy and weighed down and sluggish all the time. So knowing that fertility was the ultimate goal was really kind of what started us on this journey. But the overall health benefits that it had for me really just made it all that worthwhile. And like you said earlier, I was a little scared about, well, what if I do get pregnant? Am I ready for that? I had kind of resigned myself to the fact that this would never happen for me and I could jump on a trampoline and not ever have to worry. I used to make that joke a lot, but honestly, at the end of the day, this was something that I always wanted. I had just put it in the back of my brain for so long because I kept running into that failure and couldn't keep going, knowing that this is what I really wanted and I'm never going to have it. So honestly, if we wouldn't have had that consultation, if we wouldn't have started the program, this would have been it. I'm my age and the fact that I was already being told, yeah, time's not really on your side. I probably wouldn't have changed anything, which means that my diet would have still been the same. I still would have been suffering from an undiagnosed autoimmune disease that would be wreaking havoc on my body and making more and more stress. And I wouldn't have changed a lot about my lifestyle. I mean, I might have changed a couple of things, but I wouldn't have known how to go about it and really used scientific backing to do a lot of these changes. I think a lot of us change things hoping for an immediate reaction and not really knowing what we're doing. We kind of Google things and follow people on the internet and see how it's going to go.
That's how it works.
But really, I think being guided through the program and saying, yeah, the first 30 days that you go through that autoimmune protocol when you're detoxing are rough and you're going to want to quit and it's not going to be fun. But keep going because the end result is worth it. I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not been a part of the program, not just from having that support from the program leaders, but also from others that were going through the program, really utilizing the resources and the community that was there, knowing that others had done it and hearing their success and hearing their tips and tricks. And this was my experience and this is what we encountered and how I kind of navigated, honestly, the withdrawals of eating. Because pepper, oh my gosh, who would have thought that pepper would make such a difference in your life? But again, just having that community built into the program really, really made a huge difference. So
look, this piece that she said about the community is an essential piece. We are there, me and my team are there every day, multiple times a day, to support all the members, to support her through her journey to get pregnant and once they're pregnant. But being supported, it's so special to be supported by all these women who are going through the same thing, who have done the same thing already as you and are there to help support you. I see it every day. It touches my heart every day when they are there lifting these women up and supporting them and holding them during these difficult times and celebrating wins with them when they have those wins to share. So I love that she shared that. And I think that's such a key piece to the Hope coaching program and to the success that we have. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to highlight some key pieces of her journey that I think are really, really important. So first and foremost, unexplained infertility is often just unexplored. Like she said, they said to her, we don't know why you're having these difficulties. I think if my memory serves, she said 6 years, right? And no one bothered to look at all the right things. She kind of knew that there were some things going on, but she wasn't sure about it. But Anna had Hashimoto's disease, inflammation, cervical stenosis, which no one really looked at till the end. But these are root causes as to why she was struggling to get pregnant. They skipped straight to IVF without asking, why isn't the body working the way that it should? If you've been told your case is unexplained, what tests have not been run yet? That is the question you need to ask yourself. That is how we can help you on your journey, or one of the ways we can help you on your journey. We can see what tests haven't been run. We can tell you what the next steps are in that. And if you want some of that guidance and that support, you can use the link in the description below to set up a call with my team to see if you are a good fit for my Hope Fertility Coaching Program. The second thing is your body needs to reset before it can heal. I think you all remember her saying that she had to do a protocol, right? So through a targeted 30-day detox and anti-inflammatory protocol, which also helps support the immune system, Anna's symptoms started to improve. Her weight dropped, her energy came back, her body started working properly again, and that's such a key piece. It was working for her instead of against her. You can't build a baby on foundational imbalances, right? When your body is imbalanced and is not working properly, you can't get pregnant. It doesn't work that way because your body is focused on taking care of itself and survival and healing. So we've got to start healing first. If you've got inflammation, autoimmune issues, your body's dealing with all of that. It's not ready to get pregnant. And hers wasn't either until we supported those things. Then it was in a place to receive the pregnancy. And last, but certainly not least, you're not alone. Community matters. She said that, right? Anna found strength in hearing other women's success stories and being surrounded by people who understood what she was going through, who could support her with those struggles, with the detox, with the new dietary protocol, with the new lifestyle changes. They were there to support her. You deserve support from a team that gets it, emotionally, physically, and hormonally. In her words, just having someone actually listen and explain what's going on made all the difference. And it can make all the difference for you too. If you're feeling like your body just isn't doing what it should, if you're tired of dead ends and long Google searches and rushed appointments, I want you to know that there is still hope for you. Your fertility isn't broken. You are not broken. It just needs the right approach and plan. If you're ready to get answers and take back control of your fertility, then click on the link below to apply for a free personalized fertility assessment. We'll walk you through your case together, uncover what's been missed, and build a clear strategy to help you move forward naturally. You deserve to feel heard, to be seen and supported. Let's make your dream of motherhood a reality. And until the next video, stay fertile.